Well, thank you, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here. The word traditional, I know to a lot of people can mean a slightly different thing. I'm going to give you just a quick background. I don't pretend to be better than anybody, so I don't want you to think I'm here thinking I'm better, because I don't believe that at all. I'm just like anybody else. I train, I do my best, and if I happen to get first place, I happen to get first place.
All the time.
I tell my students will ask me when I go back to my school office, did you win, Sensei? And I'll say, well, they let me win. But seriously, I train with Sensei Brian Ritchie in the weapons and the Kobudo. He's a direct descendant of Richard Kim, one of the most knowledgeable martial arts instructors ever. In this system, they have over 100 kata, just to give you an idea. And I don't know 100 kata, weapons and non-weapons. And what I like about traditional is the technique that you learn is a technique that would actually work. I know we've been to tournaments and we see people throwing a bow in the air and doing a lot of nice stuff, which is very entertaining. And I'm entertained by it like a lot of people, but I don't teach that because I don't feel that's going to help me or my students if we were in a combat situation. I also understand that in traditional bow, you have a thick bow, just like the staff that they would use for farming. Mr. Borkowski from Toronto was probably one of the first ones in the early 80s to use a thin bow. That's the one. Thank you, sir. Give Mr. Gagny a hand. Thank you, sir. So this is how I learned. I learned with the heavy bow, and you would just do this constantly, and you have to end it exactly eye level, and so on. Okay, so all your moves had to be precise. You had to have good stances. You had to have control of the bow, and so on. So, and I remember competing with the bow just like this, and I'd get home from the tournament, and my wife would say, "What happened to you? Did you fight today?" I said, "No, I didn't fight, but I'd be all black and blue because the moves this way would be abusive to the body." So, in any case, when everybody started going to these, I decided to follow suit. Thank you so much, Master. Thank you. So I use a lighter bow. And again, my bow kata for competition may not be the pure traditional Matsuhika no Kon, Tenru no Kon, Yonagawa no Kon, Shushin no Kon, and so forth. But I take moves from these different kata that I've learned, and I try to use it to my benefit. So what I'm going to do is just do a short version of my kata. If anybody has any questions, you certainly ask. Also what I do is I try to teach my students to have a certain way that they enter the ring so that it's always consistent. Sometimes I see students or competitors entering straight on, from the right, from the left. I was taught to have the judges to my right. And myself and some others, they like to do this. And Mr. Kevin Thompson, which we all know, the greatest competitor of all time, this is how we, and I sort of picked up this from Kevin, being on the same team and all. Os! When they call you name or when they allow you to go in. Os! And you come out before the judges. Os! And what that means is you're acknowledging the judges. You're showing respect. And then you introduce yourself. And I always say something at the end like, "Thank you, judges," or "Domo arigatou gozaimasu." Thank the judges. So in any case, and then I step back and I'll begin. So I'm just going to do, like I said, some of my form. Try to make strong stances. Try to have good posture. Maybe I ki too much by some standards, but in open competition, they all do it. So anybody have any questions? Okay, good.
Well, everybody, I want to say that's the last of the gathering time for today. I want to thank everybody for coming. Oh, one more thing later on.
I have to tell you this since my coach is here. One of the most embarrassing things in the tournament, probably the most embarrassing. When I do a Gamecock, I get in the stance somewhere in my form, and I do this. I do a washi. And then I do some moves. Coach is always there, trying to influence the judges. Wow, look at that stance! Well, one day he was watching one of the other team members, and I didn't hear it. And then I'm waiting, and I do this. Wow, look at this stance! I swear, you have to understand though, I was not only embarrassed, my teacher, Professor Serio, was the head referee. And I finished my form. I'm standing like this because I knew I blew it. Professor Serio says, "Get over here, Mr. Dirico." Yes, Professor, I'm really sorry. I tried to explain. Well, coach is usually there, but he wasn't there. But I don't know what happened. He said, "You know, we could disqualify you." I said, "I know, Professor. Do whatever you have to do. I'm so sorry." He says, "Okay, we'll give you a score." They let me win, but I didn't deserve to win. So I thought I'd share that with you.